Hello everyone. Now here I am going to explain you the whole chapter of Hornbill, chapter 2nd. We are not afraid to die if we can all be together. So this is our chapter. Let's start the explanation here. And first of all, let me tell you the brief summary of the chapter, introduction of the chapter, what the chapter is all about. This chapter is written by Jordan Cook and Ellen East. The story is about a 37-year-old businessman who is the narrator of the story. He has a wife named Mary and two children, Jonathan, aged 6, and Suzanne, aged 7. He and his wife both dream of a voyage around the world on their ship, Wave Walker. What was the name of the ship? That was Wave Walker, which was 23-meter long, 30-ton wooden hulled as the outer part of the boat, just like that of the famous Captain James Cook. So as the James Cook did 200 years earlier, they also planned to go for the world voyage. The whole family planned to go for the world voyage, and the whole family started sailing from Plymouth, England on July 1976. The initial phase of the 3-year-old long journey was from Africa to Cape Town. It was pleasant. While heading east along with two newly hired crewmen, strong waves hit them and their survival became a question. The story tells us about how they fought each day and survived till the end. So this here is the explanation of the chapter. Let's see. In July 1976, my wife Mary, son Jonathan, 6, daughter Suzanne, 7, and I set sail from Plymouth, England to duplicate the world voyage made 200 years earlier by Captain James Cook. For the longest time, Mary and I, a 37-year-old businessman, had dreamt of sailing in the wake of the famous explorer, and for the past 16 years we had spent all our leisure time honing our seafaring skills. So let's see some of the meaning of the difficult words. Yes, voyage means a long journey by sea or space. Leisure means free time. Honing means what? Improving. Seafaring means regularly traveling by sea. Then wooden hull means a watertight body of the ship. So these are the meanings of the words. Let's start the explanation here. Now the narrator, 37-year-old businessman, along with his wife Mary and two children, Jonathan and Suzanne, he went for a world voyage on their ship in July 1976. They started from Plymouth, England, and they wanted to complete the sea trip around the world just like the one that had been completed 200 years ago by Captain James Cook. Now the narrator and his wife spent 16 years improving their seafaring skills, and they got a ship built professionally, which was 23-meter 30-ton wooden hull beauty, and had been professionally built. So this here it is given about the boat. How was the boat? What was its name, and how long it was? What was the weight of the Wave Walker? So what was the name of their ship? It was their boat. It was Wave Walker, which was 23-meter and 30-ton wooden hulled beauty, had been professionally built, and we had spent months fitting it out and testing it in the roughest weather we could find. So they kept on testing the boat for more than 16 years. They were preparing for the world voyage. So they took several months to test in it the roughest of weathers. Now let's see the explanation of the third paragraph. the first leg of our planned 3-year leg means was what part? The first part of our planned 3-year 1,05,000 kilometer journey passed pleasantly as we sailed down to the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. There became heading east. There, before heading east, we took on 2 crewmen, American Larry Vigil and Swiss Herb Sizzler, to help us to tackle one of the world's roughest seas, the Southern Indian Ocean. On our second day out of Cape Town, we began to encounter strong gales. For the next few weeks, they blew continuously. Gales did not worry me, but the size of the wave was alarming, up to 15 meters as high as our main mast. So mast is what? It is the topmost part of the boat. You can see the picture in Google also. You can search some of the words in Google, and I have also sent you the picture of the boat with their names. You can search it out there. So gales means what? Very strong winds, and mast is the tall upright structure of the ship or boat. So what happened? The initial phase of 3-year long journey of 1,05,000 kilometers passed pleasantly, and what he says that they sailed down the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. Cape Town is the capital of South Africa. So they traveled the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. The narrator hired 2 crewmen before heading towards the east because it is believed that the Eastern Indian Ocean is the Southern Indian Ocean is the roughest sea. So that is why he hired 2 crewmen, and their names were Larry Vigil, an American, and Herb Sizzler, a Swiss. So on the second day in Cape Town, they encountered the strong wind which continued for several weeks. A strong wind was not a problem for the narrator, but for all of them. But what was the problem? The 15-meter high winds, which were the height of the mast, worried the narrator. So these waves were the matter of worry, not the gales. Now, December 25th found us 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town. Despite atrocious weather, we had a wonderful holiday, complete with the Christmas tree. Now, New Year's Day saw no improvement in the weather, but we reasoned that it had to change soon, and it did, for the worse. At dawn on January 2nd, the waves were gigantic. We were sailing with only a small storm jib and were still making 8 knots. As the ship rose to the top of each wave, we could see the endless enormous seas rolling towards us, and the screaming of the wind and spray was painful to the ears. To slow the boat down, we dropped the storm jib and lashed a heavy mooring rope in a loop across the stern. When we double lashed, everything went through our life raft drill, attached lifelines, donned oilskin and life jackets, and waited. So just see some of the meanings here also. Atrocious, what do you mean by atrocious here? You can see bad or very poor. Gigantic means huge. Jib is what? It is a rectangular stay sail set forward the mast in a ship. It is a knots means what? A unit of speed equal to 1 nautical mile per hour. Enormous means very large in size. Lashed means what? To hit with a lot of force. Mooring is the rope, chain or anchors by which a boat is moored or controlled. Now loop is what? A shape produced that bends round and crosses. Now stern, the back part of the ship. Donned means put on, and oilskin means heavy cotton cloth waterproof with oil. So what happened on December 25th. On December 25th, they had traveled over 3,500 kilometers east of Cape Town. They celebrated Christmas together, despite the bad weather. The weather remained the same till New Year's Day, but they hoped for it to change soon. But what happened? The weather changed, but for the worse. Means the conditions got worsened. So on the early morning of January 2nd, the waves were very huge. The waves were very huge and very gigantic. Gigantic means what? The waves were very huge. And we were sailing with only a storm jib. So what they were carrying? They were carrying only a small jib and were still making 8 knots. And they were covering 8 knots, that is equal to 1 nautical per mile. 1 nautical, what you can say, that is the unit equal to 1 nautical mile per hour. Okay, so they were covering that much distance. Now what happened? When the ship was sailing with the huge waves, they could see the huge sea in front of them. The noise of the waves and a strong wind was painful. So to slow the boat down, they dropped the storm jib. What they decided? They decided to drop the jib, and they lashed a heavy mooring rope in a loop across the stern. Stern is what I told you, that backside of the boat or ship. So what they did from there, they dropped a rope from there having an anchor. Means anchor or mooring is what? It is an anchor or rope, or you can say it is a kind of chain. So it had a loop, that mooring had a loop at the bottom, and they dropped that loop across the stern. Then what they did? Then double lashed everything. What they were doing? They were sailing with a storm jib at the speed of 8 knots. So when the ship was sailing with a huge waves, they could see the huge sea in front of them. The noise of the wave and strong wind was painful for them. Now they dropped the storm jib to slow down the ship and hit a heavy mooring rope across the back part of the ship in the loop to balance the boat. Now they lashed everything with double force. They put on their oil skins and life jackets. They attached lifelines and went through the life raft drill and waited. Now the first indication of impending disaster. The first indication of impending disaster came at about 6 p.m. With an ominous silence, the wind dropped and the sky immediately grew dark. Then came a growing roar, and an enormous cloud towered aft of the ship. With horror, I realized that it was not a cloud but a wave like no other I had ever seen. It appeared perfectly vertical and almost twice the height of the other waves, with a frightful breaking crest. Now, what happened? Impending means what? About to happen. Ominous silence means it was an unpleasant, threatening silence. Aft means what? Near the stern of the ship. So you can check it. Again, I am saying you can check any picture of the boat, and you can find out infer the meanings. What is the meaning of aft? What is the meaning of the stern? So just to look at the picture, and you can find it out in Google also. So just a frightful means very pleasant or shocking, and crest means what? It is the reach the top of the wave. Crest means the top of something. Crest. So yes, around 6 p.m. what happened? An unpleasant silence rolled over, and it was an indication of a disaster which was about to happen. And the wind suddenly dropped. There was no wind. It was quite silence, ominous silence, and the sea was darker with heavy clouds. The huge clouds were coming towards the stern of the ship. But what narrator says that later he realized that they were not the clouds, they were the gigantic waves The waves were perfectly vertical, and it was twice the height of the previous wave they saw, with the top of the wave looking unpleasant due to its height. And it was frightful. Now the roar increased to a thunder as the stern moved up the face of the wave, and for a moment I thought we might ride over it. But then a tremendous explosion shook the deck. The torrent of green and white water broke over the ship. My head smashed into the wheel, and I was aware of flying overboard and sinking below the waves. I accepted my approaching death, and as I was losing consciousness, I felt quite peaceful. So here see the meanings. Tremendous word is written here. Tremendous means very great in amount. Shook means what? To vibrate. किसी चीज़ का vibrate होना, shake होना. Shook is the past of shake. Now deck means what? A floor of the ship, floor of a ship. Torrent means fast moving stream of water. Smashed means shattered or violently broken. So what is the meaning here? Let's see the explanation. Okay, the thunder increased and the waves moved the stern up. They thought that it would not do any damage to the but a huge explosion vibrated the deck. The deck was vibrated due to the explosion, and the strong moving stream of green and white water broke over the ship. It came over the ship. The narrator's head smashed in the wheel. Narrator का head क्या हुआ? Wheel से टकरा गया. And he flew overboard and sank below the waves. Now what happened? He accepted that his death was approaching. He thought that he was about to die, and started what he says, that he started losing his consciousness. I felt quite peaceful. Now as he was unconscious, he was losing his consciousness, he felt quite peaceful. Unexpectedly, my head popped out of the water. A few meters away, Wave Walker was near capsizing, her masts almost taut. I grabbed the guard rails and sailed through the air into Wave Walker's main boom. Subsequent waves tossed me around the deck like a rag doll. My left rib cracked, my mouth filled with blood and broken teeth. Somehow I found the wheel lined up the stern for the next wave and hung on. Now what he says, okay, water everywhere. I could feel that the ship had water below, but I dared not abandon the wheel to investigate. Suddenly, the front hatch was thrown open, and Mary appeared. "We are sinking," she screamed. The decks are smashed. We are full of water." So, what she says? Now later what she says, the deck are smashed, we are full of water. "Take the wheel," I shouted as I scrambled for the hatch. So here see some of the difficult words from this paragraph. Unexpectedly my head popped, and yes, capsizing means what? Capsizing means be overturned in water. Hurled means to throw with a great force. Hurled means throw with a great force. Taunt means pulled tightly. Boom means what? Pole that controls the angle and shape of the sail. Boom. ठीक है, एक पोल होता है जो कि क्या करता है, दैट कंट्रोल्स द एंगल एंड शेप ऑफ द सेल. सेल के शेप को, उसके एंगल को कंट्रोल करता है. स्क्रैम्बल, क्लाइम, claw one's way, or climb. Scramble means what? Climb, sorry. Hatch means door. So let's see the explanation here. The narrators had popped out of water. So all of a sudden what he saw, that his head unexpectedly popped out of water, and he found that he is safe. He found that he is safe, and a few meters away, Wave Walker was near capsizing. I told you capsizing means be overturned in water. Wave Walker was near capsizing, her mast almost horizontal. So narrators had popped out of water unexpectedly. The ship was about to overturn, but a wave turned her upright. तो ये पलटने वाली थी, लेकिन वेव ने उसको क्या किया, इट टर्न हर अपराइट. हिज लाइफ लाइन जैकेट्स वेयर स्ट्रेच्ड. ही ग्रैब्ड द गार्ड रेल्स. जो गार्ड रेल्स थी उनको उसने नैरेटर ने पकड़ लिया. एंड सेल टू द शिप्स मेन पोल. और शिप का जो मेन पोल था वहाँ पर वो पहुँच गए. द वेव टॉस्ड हिम अराउंड द डेक. वेव उनको डेक में इधर उधर टॉस कर रही थी. ही वॉज इंजर्ड एज हिज लेफ्ट रिब्स क्रैक्ड. सो ही वॉज टॉस्ड लाइक अ रैग डॉल. रैग डॉल इज मीन्स जो कपड़े की गुड़िया अगर आपने देखी है उस तरह से. he was tossed around the deck like a rag doll, and his left rib cracked, his mouth filled with blood and broken teeth. And somehow what he says that he found the wheel lined up the stern. Now the narrator could feel water below the ship, but he didn't leave wheel alone. Suddenly the front door opened. Okay, and what he found, I was explaining here that his mouth was filled with blood and broken teeth. अब उसकी जो माउथ थी वो पूरी तरह से ब्लड से भर गई थी, दांत उनके टूट चुके थे. Somehow I found the wheel lined up the stern for the next wave and hung on. So what he did, he found the wheel and lined the stern for the next wave and waited. Now water everywhere. I could feel that the ship had water below, but I dared not to abandon the wheel to investigate. So everywhere, water was everywhere, and he could feel that ship had water below, or he could also feel that there was water below the ship also, but he dared not to abandon the wheel to investigate. But at that particular time, what was important, just to balance the boat, to keep balancing the boat, and that is why he thought to just balance the wheel, to not to leave the wheel abandoned and not to investigate. Just suddenly the front hatch was thrown open, and Mary appeared. So all of a sudden what happened? Suddenly the front door opened, and his wife Mary came screaming that they were sinking. She said, "The deck are smashed. We are full of water." The narrator handed her the wheel and climbed towards the door. Larry and Herb were pumping like madmen. Broken timbers hung at crazy angles. The whole starboard side bulged inwards. Clothes, crockeries, charts, tins, and toys sloshed about in deep water. I half swam, half crawled into the children's cabin. "Are you all right?" I asked. "Yes," they answered from the upper bunk. "But my head hurts a bit," said Sue, pointing to a big bump above her eyes. I had no time to worry about the bumped heads. Now, what he says? After finding a hammer, screw, and canvas, I struggled back on deck with the starboard side bashed open. We were taking water with each wave that broke over us. If I couldn't make some repairs, we would surely sink. Okay, so let's see the explanation. Let's see the difficult words here. Timbers means what? Wood board used in building of a ship. Timber. Okay, लकड़ियाँ जो होती हैं, that is timber. Starboard is the right side of the ship, which is on the right side when one is facing forward. And bulge means swell. Sloshed means move through liquid with a splashing sound. Bashed means strike hard or hit. So What happens here? Okay, let's see the explanation. Now the crewmen Larry and Herb were pumping the water very fast like a madman. Okay, and the timber of the ship were broken and were hanging badly. The starboard of the ship had sunk. Clothes, crockery, charts, tins, toys, everything were roaming around in deep water. The narrator swam and crawled to the children's cabin and asked the children whether they were all right or not. So the children replied yes. Sue, his daughter, complained about a big bung on her head. The narrator didn't pay any attention, much attention. Why? Because he had what was his priority was to save the ship, and that is why he didn't pay much attention to it, as his major concern was to save the ship or save everyone. So the narrator found some screw, some hammer, canvas, and he went back to the deck. The broken starboard side was letting so much water in, and if the narrator could not fix the problem, they would surely sink. Somehow I managed to I managed, somehow I managed to stretch canvas and secure waterproof hatch covers across the gaping holes. Some water continued to stream below, but most of it was not being deflected over the side. More problems arose when our hand pumps started to block up, with the debris floating around the cabins and the electric pump short circuited. The water level rose threateningly. Back on deck, I found that our two spare hand pumps had been wrenched overboard, along with the forestay sail, the jib, the dinghies, and the major anchor. Then I remembered we had another electric pump under the chart room floor, and I connected it to an out pipe and was thankful to find that it worked. Now what he says, see here, somehow the word like deflected means what? Turned aside. Canvas is a strong unbleachable cloth. Debris is rubbish. Debris means what? It is rubbish. Wrenched means pulled suddenly or removed. Forestays the rope to support the ship's foremast, and then dinghy is the small boat for recreation with mast or sail. So let's see the explanation. Somehow I managed from here. Now the narrator stretched the canvas. Now I managed to stretch canvas. What narrator is saying? That the narrator stretched the canvas cloth and secured the waterproof hatch with which covered the gaping holes. So now secure waterproof hatch covers across the gaping holes. Some water continued to stream below. Now some water streamed below, and some was not deflected over the side. Deflected means what? Turned aside. Now the hand pump was blocked as rubbish was floating around the cabins and entered it. So hand pump was blocked because of the rubbish floating around. Now the electric pump short circuited. This also happened meanwhile. Electric pump short circuited as the water level rose. The narrator found two hand pumps had been removed along with a rope, jib, a small boat, and the main anchor. Now what he says, that he found another electric pump. Meanwhile what happens, he found another electric pump here, where under the chart room floor. I connected it to an out pipe, and what he did, he connected it to an out pipe and it started working. So he was very thankful that the electric pump started working. Now let's see. The night dragged on with an endless, bitterly cold routine of pumping, steering, and working the radio. We were getting no replies to our mayday calls, which was not surprising in this remote corner of the world. Sue's head had swollen alarmingly. She had two enormous black eyes, and now she sewed us a deep cut on her arm. When I asked why she hadn't made more of her injuries before this, she replied, "I didn't want to worry you when you were trying to save us all." Okay, so what do you mean by mayday calls here? Mayday calls means distress calls. Okay, the night dragged on with an endless, bitterly cold routine of pumping, steering, and working the radio. So the whole night was about the endless routine of pumping out water, steering the wheel, and working the radio. What he says, we were getting no replies to our mayday calls, which was not surprising in this remote corner of the world. So what the narrator says, that there were no replies to their signals sent over the radio as they were in the remotest part of the world. Now, Sue's head had swollen alarmingly. She had two enormous black eyes, and now she showed us a deep cut on her arm. When I asked why she hadn't made more of her injuries before this, she replied, "I didn't want to worry you when you were trying to save us all." So how courageous the girl was. You can see here, Sue's head was now more swollen, and she had two black eyes with a deep cut in her arm. So when upon being asked that why she didn't tell him about her injuries earlier, she said that she didn't want to worry him as he was trying to save everyone, or so he was trying to save all of them, and that is why she didn't said anything. Okay, now by morning on January 3rd, the pump had the water level sufficiently under control for us to take 2 hours rest in rotation. But when we still had a tremendous leak somewhere below the water line, and on checking, I found that nearly all the boat's main rib frame were smashed down to the keel. In fact, there was nothing holding up a whole section of the starboard hull except a few cupboard partitions. We had survived for 15 hours since the wave hit, but Wave Walker wouldn't hold together long enough for us to reach Australia. I checked out charts and calculated that there were two small islands a few hundred kilometers to the east. One of them, Amsterdam, was a French scientific base, and our only hope was to reach these pinpricks in the vast ocean. But unless the wind and seas abated so we could hoist sail, our chances would be slim indeed. The great waves had put our auxiliary engine out of action. So see the explanation here. Yes. Now, smashed means what? Badly broken. Keel is what? It is the steel structure along the base of the ship. Pinprick means the prick caused by a pin. बहुत ही छोटा सा. ओके, एक पिन से जब हम एक छेद करते हैं, प्रिक करते हैं, तो दैट इज पिन प्रिक. तो पिन prick caused by pin. Pinprick in the vast ocean means the two small island in the vast ocean. बहुत छोटे छोटे से आइलैंड हो, अगर इतना स्ट्रेच्ड सी हो और उसमें छोटे छोटे दो आइलैंड हो बहुत छोटे छोटे से, तो वो एक पिन प्रिक की तरह होते हैं, सुई की नोक के जैसे होते हैं इतने बड़े आइलैंड में. Then abated means something unpleasant to become less intense. Now auxiliary engine means some small secondary engine used to board ship to operate a windlash in the ship. Okay, just see the explanation. So what is auxiliary engine? I'm just telling you it again. Small secondary engine used to board ships to operate a windlash in the ship. So just see the explanation here. The water level was under control. Now by morning January 3, the pump had the water level sufficiently under control for us to take 2 hours rest in rotation. So as the water was under control and they were taking rest in rotation, one by one they were taking rest, but there still was a leak somewhere below the water line. So the part that is inside the water, the part of the ship that is inside the water, that is that line, we can say that it is a water line. So up to where the boat is sunk in the water, and that part we can say that is a water line. Now what happened? But there was still a leak somewhere below the water line, they noticed, and upon checking, the boat rib structure was badly broken down till the base of the ship. Now the whole section of starboard was held together with a few cupboard partitions. We had survived for 15 hours since the wave hit, but Wave Walker wouldn't hold together long enough for us to reach Australia. Now what the narrator says, the ship's condition was so bad that it would not make it till Australia. Australia तक पहुंचना मुश्किल था उनके लिए. And the narrator checked the charts and calculated that there were 2 small islands a few kilometers to the east. अब उन्होंने मैप्स देखे, उन्होंने कैलकुलेट किया कि हम यहाँ से कहाँ तक जा सकते हैं. तो what they calculated that there were 2 small islands a few kilometers to the east. ईस्ट की तरफ कुछ 1-2 आइलैंड थे छोटे छोटे जो पिन प्रिक की तरह थे इतने बड़े ओशन में. One of them was Elm Amsterdam, which was a French scientific base, and their only hope was to search and reach that island. So that was the only hope, that they could save themselves. So that was only the hope for them, but only if the wind and the sea do not cause further damage. So what was the required for that? What was required? That wind and sea do not cause further damage. Now what happened? Okay, now what happened? But if only the waves had destroyed the ship's auxiliary engine also. Now the great wave had put our auxiliary engine out of action. So the great wave had put our auxiliary engine out of action. That has also been destroyed due to strong winds. Now what happens? On January 4, after 36 hours of continuous pumping, we reached the last few centimeters of water. Now we had only to keep pace with the water still coming. We could not set any sail on the main mast. Pressure on the rigging would simply pull the damaged section of the hull apart. So we hoisted the storm jib and headed for where I thought the 2 islands were. Mary found some corned beef and cracker biscuits, and we ate our first meal in almost 2 days. So what the narrator says, on January 4th, what happened? First of all, let's see the difficult words here. Rigging means the ropes and wires supporting the structure of the ship. Hull means the framework of the vessel, the outer part of the boat. Then deteriorate means get worse. Then respite means a short period of rest. So just see, let me read this paragraph also. But our respite was short-lived. At 4 p.m. black clouds began building up behind us. Within the hour, the wind was back to 40 knots and the sea were getting higher. The weather continued to deteriorate throughout the night, and by dawn on January 5, our station was again desperate. Now just see the explanation. After 36 hours of continuous pumping on January 4, the water was only a few centimeters left to be pumped out. तो कुछ ही पानी बचा हुआ था जिसको बाहर निकालना था. Now we had only to keep pace with the water still coming in. Now what he says, but they still had to pump out the water which was coming in. उनको वो पानी को बाहर निकालना था जो कि अंदर आ रहा था. बस उनका बस यही काम था. And they could not set sail on the main mast. They hoisted the storm jib and sailed towards the small island. तो उन्होंने क्या किया, स्टॉर्म जिब को लगा लिया और वो क्या करने लगे, स्मॉल आइलैंड की तरफ बढ़ने लगे. They had their first meal in 2 days. And what narrator says that Mary found some corn, beef and cracker biscuits and we ate our first meal in almost 2 days. तो 2 दिनों में उन्होंने कुछ खाया. But our respite was short-lived. Respite means, I told you, what do you mean by respite? Means a short period of rest. तो उनका जो आराम था वो थोड़े इस टाइम के लिए ही था. At 4 p.m. black clouds began building up behind us. Now what happened? The rest period was short-lived as black cloud built up around 4 p.m. The wind was now 40 knots and the sea was getting higher. Sea और ज़्यादा it was getting higher. Sea waves getting higher. And the weather got worse, and by the early morning of January 5, the situation was bad. So what he says कि the weather continued to deteriorate throughout the night. रात भर मौसम खराब होता रहा and by dawn on January 5 our station was again desperate. So up to here just see the explanation, dear students, and rest part will be sent to you later.